Hello, everybody, and welcome along to the SRL Racing League and the inaugural event of a brand new series. Yes, it's NASCAR in the land of the free, a fully stock car championship, and the newest chapter in SRL commences now. And there's not many better places that we can start the season than at Watkins Glen, or the Glen as it's often nicknamed. This 3.8-kilometer track has 8 turns if we don't count the chicane as 4. It's very fast and it's very notorious for those speeds and very punishing on the drivers. The smallest of mistake will be heavily punished with either a high-speed crash or a very big risk of spinning and losing a lot of time. Alongside me today in the commentary box for this inaugural SRL stock car race is Tom Dillon, also joined by Jacob Reed on the cameras, and he will also be commentating today. How are you two doing today?
I am very good, thank you. Expecting a lot of action today here at the Glen. Really heavy cars now, and of course the first time we've ran non-single-seater cars in SRL. So I think it's going to be a massive challenge for a lot of the drivers today. 2.5 mile circuit, so it's quite short, relatively, and should be an interesting race.
Yeah, I'm good as well, and I'm definitely looking forward to this. It's a bit more of my thing. I'm very experienced with NASCAR, and I'm very looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. As Tom just said, it's going to be the first non-open wheel race for a while for some of these guys, and that's going to be interesting, especially some of the drivers that dominated F3 will kind of acclimatise to this different car. And yeah, we're going to get some answers very shortly as we've just jumped into qualifying.
Yeah, this format, of course, the Italian F3 was 5 races. Sorry, not 5 races, 5 rounds with a feature race and sprint race each time. Here, it's simply 1 race per round. We start at the Glen. Next week will be at Road America, then Talladega, and then the finale at Daytona. 40 drivers signed up for this event. I don't know if they've all made it into the session. I sure hope so, but it is going to be chaotic. It's a small track. It's very fast. It's narrow in some places as well, particularly around turn 5. That chicane is going to be a bottleneck section for certain, especially on the opening lap. So it will be a good test of the drivers' patience and their racecraft around here as qualifying 10-minute session gets underway. We're looking here at Darius Andre. He comes into the chicane. This chicane and the subsequent corner, probably the two, I think it's probably the narrowest part on this track. It's also where you're coming in at the highest speed into that chicane.
And as well, it's a very, very high power track, perfect for these cars. Low downforce, very heavy, and most of the time they handle like boats, so you want the high power tracks, really.
Let's have some prediction for sorry, Tom. Let's have some predictions for pole, gentlemen.
Well, I haven't seen the practice timings too much, but judging by he's at the top of the tower at the minute, I'm going to say Ivanov. He's in the Netrex car, if I remember correctly, and yes. They've been very fast in the series so far, so I expect that to continue for them, really.
I'm gonna go with a driver I've raced with a lot, close to the top there, and that's Rory McDuff. Privateer for this race, but he's very experienced with Knight of Velux in LMP2, and I think he's got some good experience in these kind of cars that he can just use along with his very good speed, and I think he's going to be one to watch out for pole position.
Yeah, I don't really know who I want to put my money on. Now, of course, Danny Bodania has entered 3 teams into this series. The Netrex, of course, and the 2 sister teams of Brem GP. And I can't quite remember the name of the other one. What was it? We'll remember it in time. It's in my article, so I'll just quickly go and check that. But yeah, the first times coming in now, the first times of the new series. Looked like an okay lap from Andre, a bit wide in a couple of areas. Turn 1 is a notoriously difficult corner to get right. If you go wide there, you lose a lot of time. Also at turn 5, it's very difficult to get that one right. Such a long corner as well. Needs a lot of patience. You want to get on that power, but you have to bide your time. Here is Rory McDuff, the man that Jacob was tipping to do good things today. Slots into second place. So it seems we can already justify his claim, but Carlos Martin currently sitting on pole in his Brem car. I tipped him to win this Drivers' Championship in my latest article, which you can go and read now on the website. You can go read Tom's as well. But he's currently on pole, and Tom, your man, Ivanov, is third. So everyone predicted to be on pole is in the top three right now.
Short and sweet sessions. This, of course, as the times start flooding in, the track is only going to get more rubbered in, and you need as much grip as you can get in these cars. I was driving a few of them around Daytona the other day, and they are very, very difficult. I know Jacob was talking about, and Alex Hallow's actually complaining about it. They're really easy to spin. You have to. It's almost a perfectly balanced art driving these NASCARs. Jacob has mentioned actually that you have to sometimes use your clutch and do a bit of heel and toe on the downshift just to stop yourself spinning out of the corners. So new skill for a lot of these drivers is, as we said, all the time we've been using semi-automatic gearboxes. So whilst auto clutch is allowed, as not everyone has a H pattern, it is going to be a little bit difficult for some of them to get used to these new cars.
Yeah, it definitely will be. We're just looking at a couple of the times coming in there from Gausitz and Burka. Burka was purple in Sector 1, but slow Sector 3 means he's stayed 5th. Santaka comes across the line, improves on his time, not on his position, stays 27th in that Falcon car. But I think Watkins Glen will be a good training ground for these guys because it's got the fast corners, it's got the slow ones, and it's got the long straights to pass on as well. Maybe lacking a hairpin because we're not using the full layout. We're using the Grand Prix layout. Here's Victor Ivanov.
If I do apologise, Santanke, looking at the replay, he doesn't seem to be using all of the track really. He seems to be kind of just running it a little bit short and not really getting the most out of that Falcon car.
Ivanov
on board with Victor Ivanov.
Yeah, he's clobbering these curves. Is that a good? Now these guys are allowed to track extend to certain points on the circuit. It was made very clear in the Discord, and it seems that Ivanov is using that. There you go, extending his way across there, carrying as much speed as possible. He's improved on his Sector 1 and his Sector 2. Looks nice and clean out of the final corner. Now the dash to the line for Victor Ivanov. He improves, but up to second, just behind his teammate as whoa, that's Rory McDuff drifting his way around the final corner. That was some very good car control. Unfortunately, it's not going to help him improve his time.
Yeah, and he had set purple Sector 1 as well, so that's unfortunate that he let that go.
Looks like he was playing Dirt Rally, not R Factor 2 there.
Here's your pole sitter currently, Carlos Martin, trundling down the pit lane. Here's Jesper Eriksson. Of course, I have to say, underwhelming for Italian F3 season, but of course he was the last person to win a race there. He won the final race in Imola, and with that momentum, he currently sits 8th.
Yes, 8th is a really, really good position to be in.
He's very wide though. He's sliding about all over the place. He's still sliding as he comes into the turning point for the next corner. He's well offline. I don't think he's going to be finding much improvement at all through this part of the lap. That was, I think, Sean Jones we were looking at. Rather than Jesper Eriksson.
They happened to be at the same point in the track, so it looked like nothing had changed as Wesley across the line. Once again, purple Sector 1 for someone, and they've just let the lap go.
Sector 2. And green Sector 2, just like on his last lap, Sector 3 seems to be lacking a little bit for the Excensa driver. Still 7th, just ahead of Eriksson, who improves on his time. Not enough to gain a position, though. There are 3 minutes left in qualifying. A lap around here, as you can see on the dash, is just over 1 minute, roughly 1 minute 6 seconds, 1 minute 5.893 currently the pole time by Martin. Oh, no, sorry, that's Wes's time. The pole time, if I can read it correctly.
Yes, pole time is for 5.893.
Oh, okay.
That's the target time on the overlay.
Yeah, that's my bad. I'm still quite experienced with this. Burkout again, purple Sector 1, green Sector 2. He just needs to get this Sector 3 nice and hooked up. Maybe it looks all right through there. Comes now to switch to the other side, take the racing line. Car looks a bit drifty on the exit. It was stable mid-corner though, and up to the line comes the Excensa driver. And where does he put that car? He improves. and he goes up to 5th.
It's-
So into the top 5, but it's so close at the top.
It's that mid-corner oversteer that a lot of the drivers are struggling with. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I know Kimi Raikkonen in real life Formula 1 loves to set up his car to get that little bit of mid-corner oversteer, sort of lose cornering speed, but to get an extra little bit of a boost down the straight. And it seems to be a kind of technique that really helps these NASCARs. As you can see, they're always looking as if they're right on the edge of
Ivanov brushed the wall there. Here's Leonov up to the line now, doesn't improve. Again, lacking in Sector 3 seems to be the hardest one to consistently get correct, even though it's only 2 corners. Here's Liam Rance coming round the final corner.
That was really
very close to the wall on the outside. And where does he stick his car? He's improved. He goes up to 7th. 7th place for Liam Rance.
That was a tidy bit of oversteer there from Liam.
Here's
but
Alfie Bevan.
Not sure it's necessarily what he wants.
Alfie Bevan for FRA Sim Racing. I've tipped them to be one of the surprise packages of this season because they really haven't received the credit and the talk that I think that the lineup deserves and promises. So, well, Bevan 14th, it's not an awful position, and his teammates aren't performing too badly either. Oh, that's a big moment of oversteer for Sean Jones there.
Speaking of Sean Jones, he's probably one of the most improved drivers on the grid in the past year. He's really benefited from the AFP Equals program, getting a 2nd place in ARL Le Mans 12 Hours yesterday, something he probably wouldn't have done 6 months ago.
He was elated about that. Jesper Eriksson has 20 seconds. I think Jesper Eriksson will get another lap here. He's green in Sector 1. He's green in Sector 2. That means he's improving on his personal best lap time. If it's purple, it means he's the fastest man in the sector of anybody. Around the final corner, a little bit twitchy mid-corner, but he kept it tight to the apex. Where does Jesper Eriksson go? 5th. Up to 5th place into the top 5 goes Jesper Eriksson. Very good lap there.
Checker flag is out, and Jesper will be going again. He managed to just take the flag.
Martin's still 4/10 ahead of Eriksson, though. 4/10.
I think it's going to be a massive bolt to the line now as we're looking at Harry Smith finishing his lap. He was purple in Sector 1. Is he going to be able to make anything of this? I don't think
the Primo
he will.
Guida? Oh, he does. He goes 6th fastest. Improves 13 positions with a wonderful lap there to finish the session. That is a very good effort. He'll be pleased with that. Here comes Wesley Burkhout. He's purple in Sector 1 again. Let's see where he goes. Burkhout improves, but he doesn't change his position. He stays in 7th place. And it's been the story of his qualifying, just struggling to find time in Sector 3. Here's another man who was purple in Sector 1, Ivan Leonov. He's not using as much of that tarmac on the runoff. I think he could be doing sliding around there, but keeping it away from the wall. Leonov up towards the line. Where does that Brem GP car go? 2nd onto the front row, but nobody can match Carlos Martin by the looks of it. I think we still have a few guys on laps who are in contention.
That is everyone now.
But no, it is everyone. So that is it. Carlos Martin takes pole position. He won Italian F3. He won the Indy 250, and he's taken pole position for the inaugural SRL NASCAR race.
And
brilliant lap.
I think there, James, you can really see the track evolution coming into its own in that last sort of minute of qualifying. You'd see so many purple sectors being set. Harry Smith setting a purple sector, Wesley Burkhout setting a purple sector, and Leonov as well setting a purple sector 1. So showing how much real road can really have an effect on the qualifying results, but unfortunately none of them able to convert it into a pole position.
And that got very tight at the end especially, but Carlos Martin, that was his first lap he set, I think, or one of his...
Yes, it was his first lap.
He certainly didn't improve on it in the second half of the session. It was his first lap, yeah. That is a very good effort. So he was clearly happy with that lap, but I mean, the time shows that it was a good one because he's on pole.
Yeah, and I think it was the same with Rory McDuff as well. Just one and done early in the session, just can't improve on it, which is quite surprising. Usually it takes, well, at least for me, it takes 1 or 2 laps to actually get a really good time in, and you just kind of build your way up. But I guess these guys are much better than me, and I already know that, and that's probably the difference.
whenever I do any races, I like to try and get three or so laps in as a minimum. You want to get your banker in at the start of the session, then you want to get you want to get your first hot lap in, and then right towards the end of the session, you want to get your fastest lap in. And obviously, you can afford to do more than that, but obviously, some of these guys not opting for that strategy, and just getting a really fast one in at the end.
I mean, even in the warm-up, look at the chicane. It's chaotic. It's hard. It's going to be chaos in the race, and I definitely sense a I definitely sense a multi-car crash, either in this part here or going wide in the first part, and then either hitting the wall or rejoining dangerously, because there's nowhere really to rejoin if you go off. You kind of have to skip across the grass and or going back onto the racing line again. So it's risky business. You have to be careful through there. Whoa, spinning around. That's exactly how you don't do it. And if that happens in the race, that will be probably... Oh, there you go. Right in the background. Big accident. We hope that we don't see that. Yeah, we hope that we don't see any of that in the race, but I fear that we will.
Of course, these cars as well, one thing to note, they don't have pit limiters on them, which obviously means that they will not be, they have to actually manage their throttle in the pit lane. Something not a lot of these guys are used to. Is most modern cars obviously have that help in hand through the pit lane. You can really just full throttle it, and the ECU of the car will do all the work. But of course, NASCARs are very traditional. They're very bare, and that's really the fun of this type of saloon car racing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very experienced with NASCAR. I'm much more of, in terms of American motorsport, I'm much more into IndyCar and other open wheel categories. Not the most experienced guy to commentate NASCAR. That's where Jacob comes in, and Tom as well. So on the tech, I'll have to trust you two with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very old-fashioned and traditional, but with some interesting ways to try and modernize it up, and unique rules that are very polarizing.
They have a, as James is telling us, he's got to quickly leave the commentary booth here. He'll be back in a minute. So I guess me and Jacob, you've got now for a couple of minutes. But there's a lot of weird NASCAR rules. I know they've got the playoff system in place, of course, something that we've opted not to use.
Not quite sure how a playoff system would work with 4 races.
No, exactly. I know I was watching a lot of the, during lockdown, I was watching a lot of the races on iRacing. And it was very interesting, actually, to see how those guys race. And I think the oval races this season are going to be the most interesting. But, of course, these guys have to learn their way on the road course first. You've got quite a lot of experience in oval racing, Jacob.
Yeah, I do.
What would your advice be to the guys to kind of not crash?
That would be my advice. Don't crash. And so... If you don't know, the calendar is Watkins, Glen. The next week is Road America, and then after that is Talladega, and then Daytona. So it's 2 plate races, which are very unique, even compared to ovals, because all the power is significantly restricted, and the tracks are so wide and fast that it's flat out all the way, and the main factor is the slipstream and kind of the pack that you're in, which means that everyone's very close, and everyone is, maybe with the experience that these drivers have, is going to be pulling moves that you're probably not going to be wanting to be around. So my advice would be hang in the back, make friends, if you've got people that will work with you, you have a huge advantage over someone that has nobody to work with, because you can just get hung out to dry and you can go from first to last in a lap. So just hang in the back, make friends, and learn as you go along. The races are fairly long, so you've got time.
There's a fair bit of luck as well. You can miss time a pit stop and then a full course yellow come out, and suddenly your race is basically ruined. But going flat out in any car around, even Indy in this game, can be very scary. The car just wants to get away from you through the corner. But luckily, these guys don't have to worry about that just yet. They've got a couple of weeks to get to grips with the cars. Of course, actually, these cars have different body kits depending on the track. So you're essentially driving slightly different cars round to round. Another thing the single-seater drivers are going to have to get used to.
I still stand by the fact I think Road America will be the most entertaining race. I still think it will be more entertaining than the ovals.
Road America is actually a really, really good track.
Well, it's very hard. It's very, very hard.
We did the 24 hours there, and despite it not ending too well, it was a very, very fun track to drive, especially at night. It was such a nice circuit. Looked very nice, and yeah, it was just all around a really good experience.
I mean, it's not quite up to the safety standards needed for something like Formula One. There's not enough runoff. The track's too narrow. The facilities aren't quite there either. But
very unforgiving.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very difficult circuit, very unforgiving, difficult to pass. You need to do a lot of practice for it.
And doing it in monsoon conditions as well is very interesting.
Even to make a pit stop,
that is a nasty accident.
Even to make a pit stop is more difficult than most places because you're braking up a hill. You're deviating, of course, you're braking up a hill, and then you have to turn left afterwards. As soon as you get to the crest, slow down for the line, all at the same time. Very easy to lock the wheels up.
It's very similar in character, I always feel, to something like Brands Hatch or Autumn Park.
Brands is more. The thing about Brands is it's twisty pit lane entry, so you have to slow down anyway.
And of course, Autumn Park is essentially an identical pit straight to, albeit a bit shorter, to Road America.
Yeah, Road America does have a long pit straight.
Yes, and a massive crest as well, so it's interesting.
Massive.
Yeah, Road America is going to be interesting because NASCAR Cup Series hasn't actually ever raced there, so
really,
not yet. This year will be the first NASCAR Cup Series race at Road America. So
really? I thought they'd already done it.
They raced the Xfinity Series, the second tier there. So it's no even. I can look at this race and go, roughly based on what I've seen in real life, I can tell how things will work out a little bit. But with Road America, it's just going to be completely new, and that's just going to make it even more unpredictable.
Well, CEO of NASCAR, I hope you're watching Road America, so you know how to present your weekend to your drivers and what to expect. But anyway, 1 minute to go until the warm-up is scheduled to end, and then we will go to the grid. I believe it's a rolling start, determined by a leader control. So race director Anthony Nickpot will give the control to the leader, and he can decide to that point to go. He can either wait till the start-finish line where he has to go, and the green light is shown, or he goes at his own time, which is much more recommended because it's easier to catch people out.
First ever road course rolling start for SRL.
Yeah, and knowing Carlos Martin, he'll have practiced this maneuver many times. So I'm expecting him to pull a big gap on the opening lap.
Rolling starts overall are very difficult, especially on road course tracks. I point towards just last weekend when another R-Factor 2 league, another American series actually, VISC, had their Belle Isle race and went into turn one, and rolling starts can catch you out to the point that there was about 7 wheels rolling across the track surface.
Yeah.
I would quite expect to see something very similar here.
Well, Belle Isle is a bit bottlenecky at the first corner as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, the checkered flag has fallen on the warm-up session, so the drivers are finishing their final preparations before the first race in these NASCARs. It's a very highly anticipated race, particularly by some of these drivers who have been attracted to oval racing and racing these NASCARs around these road courses. I think certainly the ovals are the ones which are going to be more sought after to win, but to win on a road course you also need tremendous skill.
I mean, everyone wants to win the big one, obviously. The
Daytona, yeah.
Everyone wants to win it so much that Jacob Reed, you want to, you're having a go at it.
Yes, I will be.
So we'll need a new cameraman for that race.
Yeah.
So it will be a 40-minute race, so roughly 37 laps. There won't be any cautions unless it's very much needed because there's a massive pile-up or something. No red flags unless there are... I mean, the red flag debate really came about after Vallelunga last season, but it has been slightly refined, but we still is very strict. It will only be called into action if there is a big pile-up before the race starts.
Oh dear.
Or there are disconnection problems. What's the issue, Jacob?
I think we have a server issue, in that I just heard yellow, 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 i.e. the server safety car is on, so we may need a restart here.
The server safety car is on.
Okay, so anyway, despite what's going on, we can have a look at this grid order. So it was Carlos Martin who took pole position in this Brem 1-2 front row lockout at the front with his teammate Ivan Leonov lining up second. Viktor Ivanov is third and Rory McDuff fourth. Harry Smith has been promoted to fifth place ahead of Jesper Eriksson. I think that's actually a shuffle there. I thought that Eriksson qualified ahead of him. Seventh place is Wesley Burkout. Owen McGougy lines up alongside him in eighth. Fifth row of the grid, Liam Ransom is pleased to put his car ninth just ahead of Alessandro Valente. 11th place is George Whitehouse. 12th is Ernest Lappins, driving the only driver in his team. 13th, Danny Robbins in the AFP, the first AFP. And 14th is Calvin Reiner. And yes, we do have a restart. So Jacob was right. Stoyan Barbaco, I would have expected him to be slightly higher up the grid. He's alongside Kevin Veachers on the 8th row. Joe Galsidis is 17th with Sean Jones 18th, 19th for Alfie Bevan and 20th for Alex Hallows, the first Ozone car on the grid. Darius Andre 21st, Reynaldi Edo 22nd, Bill Ballatz 23rd, SRL veteran that lad, and 24th Eli Pellicer, 25th Amar Hammoud, 26th is Damien Kleiner, 27th, Jürgen van Bergen. I think he'll be very disappointed with that, particularly with his teammates locking out the front row, and he's joined by Giuseppe Stelli on the 28th row. 29th is Sontake, 30th, Eric Kumade, 31st, the other Eric Kuchenberger, 32nd, Otavio Barros. 33rd, Danny van der Neer, another big disappointment. I don't think he actually made the start of the quali session. But whatever's happened, that's a drive from the back for him. 34th, Charles Common rounding off the grid. The 35th car is Ibrahim Khan, who's also, we know he's fast. So watch out for Van der Neer and Khan near the back. Expect them to try and sieve their way through the order. But that is your 35-car grid for the opening race of the SRL NASCAR Series. It's the first race with closed cockpits and more than one seat in the car.
And can I just say, James, there is nothing more impressive in racing, arguably. It's one of the most impressive things anyway, seeing 35 cars hungry and ready to go on a formation lap.
A formation lap without incident is very difficult to come around.
And a very fast formation lap as well. These guys are going very quick around here.
And of course, it'll be even more amplified at our oval races. But I believe James is going to take you through the starts as they prepare to go here.
Martin's slowing down a little bit. He's bunching them up. He's getting ready to go. I think he'll go just at the middle of this last corner. The cars are all lined up. Here we go then. The start of a brand new series, a 4-round series in SRL Stock Car. We are ready to go racing as they come up to the line. Carlos Martin has gone. He has gone and he's left Leonov in his tracks there. Ivanov immediately passes him on the run down towards turn one. The 3 wide just behind and into the first corner. Martin safely through. 3 wide in the back as well. There's a yellow further behind. Oh, it's a spin into the wall.
That's chaos.
Like Ericsson, that's a lot of cars all over the road. I think Ericsson was the first one to go off, and then a lot of other guys getting spun around.
Do we have a restart? Yes, we have a restart.
Okay, so of course the race director has called a red flag, and James's internet has gone. So that's
good timing for that internet to go.
Yeah, good time. Yeah.
So, I think we had a server issue with the cautions. I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So we might need a full server restart and fix that first.
But yeah,
We just tease the audience there.
That's turn one. So imagine the chicane. I mean, it looked all clean. It looked like they were staying modestly too wide throughout, and then there was a 3 wide moment, and then mayhem in the back. Absolute mayhem. Cars all over the road at the end there. So, we try again in a few moments' time. Just bear with us for the time being. Well, this does, if anything, give the drivers a bit more of a chance to go out on track and practice, because clearly some drivers might need it after that chaotic start. And Jacob has turned into a photographer.
Yeah, I just thought I'd set the camera up somewhere nice.
Yeah, well, no problem at all. But yeah, I mean, Watkins, Glen, and Road America as well. There's not much runoff. I mean, this first corner has ample runoff, but a corner like the chicane, very little runoff, especially on the exit of the second part. Turn 5 has a bit of runoff, but a lot of grass before it as well. So if you go wide at the start, there's no tarmac to save you. You're on the grass before you reach asphalt, and then the last two. The penultimate corner, plenty, but you don't want to run wide there because you set yourself up badly for the last corner, and the last corner, that wall is very, very ominous. On the exit, we saw a lot of guys brushing it in qualifying, and I doubt that that will change in the race. We have had one attempted race start, which didn't go to plan. I think the server has been restarted now, or is in the process of being restarted. I don't know where Tom has gone. We seem to have.
I am here.
He's still here. Okay.
I was just listening into Alex Hallows' stream as he's racing for the red flag. I just thought it'd be interesting to get a constant onboard view of a driver.
Wesley Burkout told me how to pronounce it properly. Is also streaming on Twitch. If you want his POV, as is Ernest
make sure you
Lappins.
use a second window and don't leave us.
Of course, yeah. Keep watching the stream, of course, because we need all the views we can get. What?
21 people watching right now. Very impressive. So thank you everyone for your continued support as we get ready for the second start here in SRL Stock Car.
Indeed. I'm just going to have a quick bit of chocolate. Here's another place where potential problems lie, though, getting everyone back into the server as it was. Seems that everyone is doing fine for the time being and getting into the server.
Very interesting comments from Alfie Beaven. Hopefully the stream cannot see that.
No, I'm afraid that we can see that. I mean, we're not getting demonetized yet, so it's okay.
Well, yes, it's going to be a very interesting race when we finally get it underway. Hopefully, we can get it underway sooner rather than later.
Netrek, it seems like we was talking about in the intro how maybe because it's NASCAR, you have to, some open wheel guys might struggle. Netrex, they just look unbeatable. The same lineup as in F3 and in the Indy 250, and they still have. Well, Brem GP have locked out the front row, and it's a Netrex right behind them. And Harry Smith's Primagida in 5th place as well. So, all Netrex owned cars in the top 5.
Well, when you have such a successful team as Netrex of 2nd place in the Formula Sim Racing Pro Championship, the second tier of R Factor 2, open wheel racing, discounting GPVWC. Of course, those two leagues caught in a kind of rivalry. I hope you don't mind me saying. But yeah, of course, when you've got a team that successful and that large relative to the other teams in this league, then I think it's quite natural that they're going to be one of the most successful and right up there at the top of the field.
Yeah. And also, well, here we go. We're getting ready to go racing. So we'll have another formation lap. Hopefully not as fast. Well, actually probably a little bit faster because you want to get to the racing. But that was a very fast formation lap. And I think that might well have contributed to some of the accidents that occurred. Who knows? Just have to get everyone to the grid. The formation lap will get back underway and the rolling start. And so, but Carlos Martin, absolutely perfect. As I said, I'm sure he's practiced this many, many times. And he absolutely nailed it. Caught Leonov napping. And Leonov got passed not just by Ivanov, but by McDuff coming into the first corner before the chaos behind unfolded. We're back underway.
If you don't mind me saying, James, sorry to cut in, tyre warmers not allowed in NASCAR. So your tyres start freezing cold. And you really have to kind of, you have to really work to warm them up. And you can't really catch a break with them. Of course, race should be a one-stop strategy, although teams are not required to make a pit stop, though the fuel tank is unlikely to last.
I've heard 2-stop. I've heard 12 laps per stint.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
And there's 37 laps, so that's going to be tight. If it's a 2-stop race, that'll be very tight. But here's the grid. If you missed it a few minutes ago, 35 cars on the grid today, or at least 35 cars that waited in time for qualifying, therefore can race. We're allowed a maximum of 40 drivers to sign up per race. 5 haven't made it, so they're going to have to start from the pit lane next race. Start at the back at least. I don't really know how it works, but yeah. That's how it is. A couple more corners to go, and we'll be back on the racing. And again, it's a very fast formation lap from these guys. Just eager to... I mean, that's a very nice single file line. Very nice single file line on the left there. Not so much on the line for the pole man. That's a great shot. Get your cameras out, lads. Anyway, 2 corners to go. 1 now, and Carlos Martin. I think Leonov will be aware of Martin's tricks now, so it's going to be even more difficult for him to pull that gap out. But let's see. Angelique Pom will let him control. And Carlos Martin, it's up to him to dictate when this SRL NASCAR season will get underway for real this time. We are ready to go racing at the Glen, and Carlos Martin has bolted, and Leonov has reacted much better this time, but still not as good as Ivanov, who's got a nice little slipstream tucked in behind Martin as they come into the first corner. It's a car on the grass. That's Ericsson trying to find a way past Harry Smith into the first corner, and Martin defends his position well, running a little bit wide, but that's legal, and it seems a lot less chaotic than the first time. Still no yellow flag, so everyone has made it through the first corner pretty unscathed. There's a small flash of yellow there. But I think it's pretty clean. Ernest Lappin's a shot up the grid from 10th up to 6th already. Brilliant start for him. Also a brilliant start from Carlos Martin pulling away. Here's Lappin. He's going for 5th place even. He's trying to overtake. That's Victor Ivanov, who has fallen down the order through that first corner into the chicane. Oh no, someone's gone round. Someone has gone round on the back. There's another car a bit wide. Oh dear. Many, many cars involved in that incident. A penalty has already been applied as well to George Whitehouse. It's Joe Gastitz, one of the cars involved in that. So about 4 or 5, actually a bit more than that, probably 7 or 8 cars involved in that incident and making contact. Another penalty assigned to Alessandro Valente, the reason of which is not yet known. If we could find it out, that would be appreciated. But at the end of the first lap, Carlos Martin very controlled. He's got a decent gap, and again, Ernest Lappin's harassing the back of Victor Ivanov. We're on board with the front bumper of him, thinking of going for the move to the inside. He's later on the brakes as well, but he's too far back to go for it, but he'll sit in behind the Brem GP car. But that was a surprisingly clean first few corners. The chicane was a bit more of a mess, but a lot of cars have made it through well. The top 10 are fine.
Looking at Alex Hallows' stream, it appears that George Whitehouse went into the pits, so I imagine he might have accidentally sped.
Yeah,
there was
that'll
also
probably be...
and a bit of a poor start from Alex. Didn't really make up any positions, and it is pure chaos. There's a little bit of a pile-up, as I mentioned, on the back straight.
That would explain the quick...
Very well so far, though.
That would explain the quick assignment of the penalty to both Whitehouse and Valente, or maybe it was a jump start. Here's Danny Vadillia, started 33rd, might I add. He's already up to 13th. absolutely incredible start from the Netrex man. It's this kind of experience and consistency which is why Netrex is going to win, well, the unofficial Constructors Championship, because of course there isn't one, but we can... That was a bit dangerous there. That was a teleport from Alex Hallows. He's teleported behind Danny Van der Neer and he almost took him out. That was a bit dangerous. Van der Neer, after a bit of a scare, will be grateful he now has one less car to pick off. He hasn't even got that big of a gap to the leaders yet. He's already up into 12th place, and Ibrahim Khan, if I can see where he is, he's a bit further down, a lot further down actually. He is down, he's way down the order. Compared
I don't
to the man
actually
he
see
started
him.
right next to. So Khan, I don't think made it into the session at all. So that makes Van der Neer's job even a bit more impressive. Carlos Martin still leads from Ivan Leonov and from Roy McDuff, and Ernest Lapin still can't find a way to get past Viktor Ivanov.
Yeah, just looking at drivers who've made a lot of positions as well. We have Eric Kumade up 15 positions, and then the other Eric Kukenberg, up 14 positions, up to 17th. So good job by both of those guys, as well
Both
as
Erics,
Van der Neer to improve position.
I must say that Grimelli livery looks absolutely gorgeous on Eric Kukenberg's car.
All three of them do, the Grimelli liveries.
Yeah, he's done a very good job. He also designed my livery, but that wasn't his own idea. I mean, and we're already coming up to lap someone here, Carlos Martin. Look at this massive train of cars he's got behind him. What? That's a huge train. That is 5 cars all the way down to Lapins, tucked in nicely behind the Brem GP car, and he's going to be under pressure from his teammate Leonov. It's Indy 250 all over again. Now, Martin was very calculated about that Indy 250, and he knew he was going to win that race 4 laps before it ended. He knew he was going to win it. It's exactly what he did, but he's catching up to a laps car now, which might well pose a problem if he doesn't move out the way. Now, he'll be instructed to move out the way, and as you can see at the bottom left of your screen, a lot of DNFs already, probably from that opening lap chaos.
Now, despite the fact that we have a road course here, it's still really dependent on slipstream because of the short lap and the power dependency of this track, as there's some yellow flags through sector 2, I think that is.
Another penalty applied. Also, Harry Smith, shame for him, he started in the top 5, he's down in 22nd place now. He must have had a spin or a very bad start, because you don't just drop 17 places by the click of a finger.
I think he is the car about to be lapped.
It might well be, it probably is him.
That's Lapins in the background.
That's Lapins into the wall. A hefty hit on the left side of that car. He's still in 6th place miraculously, but that will be a lot of damage on that car, and he's sliding
he's damaged, and he's overheated his tyres as well.
Yeah, his tyres will be screaming for cold air.
That's a dangerous place to be spun. And luckily he's DNF'd at the right point.
He's DNF'd, so he's out.
Very aware from Lapins there. You've got to respect that, to just escape while you're kind of mid-spin and not endanger any other driver.
The overlay hasn't updated by the looks of it. It still shows Lapins.
Yeah, I think it updates every lap.
Yeah, he has retired from this race, so that everyone behind him is up a place. That was a big hit into the wall, and as you can see, as he came up through the fast, I don't know what it's called, the right-left section, you could see his car was visibly very hard to control, lost it, and that's his race unfortunately done. So 0 points for Ernest Lapins in the season opener. Big blow to his title aspirations. Carlos Martin continues to lead with this very similar gap to his teammate behind, and Rory McDuff in 3rd place. So Harry Smith clearly has some pace because he's not being caught alarmingly quickly by the race leaders. So clearly he's got a bit of pace about him, so he must have had a bit of a misfortune on that opening lap, although Leonov is a lot closer than he's ever been. This is the closest we've seen him. Martin doesn't see a need to defend, and that's why, because Leonov was not going to go for the move into the chicane. He'd rather go for it somewhere else, as McDuff ran a bit wide there.
In a 4-round championship, you cannot afford to make any mistakes. Yep. You have to basically get a podium every round to have a chance at the championship. So a massive blow to Ernest Lapins.
Yeah, you need that consistency. Martin, Leonov's sticking with him here. This is, I spoke with Martin afterwards. We spoke a long time about that last 10 or so laps. His attention to detail and how calculated he is. I mean, we're watching the replay. He sees a skid mark on the ground that is almost invisible. I mean, I didn't even see it even when he pointed out where it was. And he knows that that's Leonov overheating his tyres. He's very, very well calculated, composed. he's definitely the hardest guy in SRL to pass. I haven't seen him been passed in a very long time. Here's Leonov, though, in the slipstream approach to the chicane, but you just can't pass into the chicane. Or at least there's no urgency to do so now because, well, there's 30 laps ahead of us and it is the season over. You don't really want to be taking massive risks like sending one into that corner would be. Got to be careful of McDuff behind, though. Similar gap to what he has to Martin. And those two pulling away a little bit. McDuff is under pressure from Jesper Eriksson behind, who is sticking with these guys. He's doing a great job, is Jesper Eriksson. Just behind him is Victor Ivanov, then a little bit of a gap back to Wesley Burkhout. Oh, Maganji 7th. Danny Robbins has gained a few places, up in 8th place. 9th, Darius Andre has gone from 21st to 9th. A very good effort from him. If you're not already following us on social media, on Twitter at SAL Racing League, there'll be plenty of updates about what's happening in the championship, particularly with the inauguration of this new championship.
Now, despite a poor start, very impressive to see Alex Hallows up in 10th place. And I'd say everywhere from 1st to sort of 15th has got a reasonable chance at this, maybe up to 10th actually, has got a reasonable chance at this win. And it's going to be the pit window that starts to open around about now.
Danny Van der Neer has retired from this race. So,
Massive blow.
Miraculous start, but he's retired from this race. And this is a battle. And this is for, I don't know what position it is. I think it's 4th, but this is behind now. This is Danny Robbins going for the move on Owen Magalji side by side, coming out of turn 5 and the blast down. Turn 6 and the blast down towards turn 7. Can he get this one done? He goes for the switchback again, does the AFP car. They bang wheels coming into the last corner. The slide. Oh, and he hits the back of him there, does Robbins. He hit the back of Magalji. He punted him around that corner. They're completely inseparable as they cross the line. But Robbins has the inside line, the advantage into the first corner. Can Danny Robbins take this position? He's out of shape. He's ahead, though. Danny Robbins takes 7th place from Omar Gauji, wrestling his way past. And that AFP moves up into the top 7. A big gap ahead, though. He's going to be under pressure from Magalji instantly. He's going to want revenge. He's sitting tight in the slipstream. Going to rebound off this corner. Robbins knows he's there. He defends the inside line. Pulls back to the outside of Magalji. Does not fancy going for a move into the chicane. Would rather stick around. And we've been always got out of shape. Lovely drift through the corner, though. These guys have got some very good car control that we've seen an abundance of so far today.
Due to the, I believe NASCARs don't have power steering, and because of this, you get a lot of feel through the wheel, even on the simulator, as you can see Eric Kuchenberger into the pits. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. So he is the first one that we've seen come into the pits. Also into the pits, that is, I don't know who that is in the pits. Could that be Owen Magalji who's come into the pits? A lap ahead?
No, I think.
Oh, no, that's
I think it's a lap car.
Yeah. We saw Magalji passing us.
Damien Kleiner, who's 6 laps down, must have got damage on early on and had to repair it.
Well, fair play to him carrying on. This is a long pit stop though for Aaron Kuchenberger.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Something is taking an abnormally long amount of time. Back to the front though. Carlos Martin still leads from Leonov. McDuff has closed that gap slightly since the last time we saw him, but not by much. He's also... Oh, no, sorry, that's the lapped car. That's Harry Smith. So actually the gap has increased to Rory McDuff.
But McDuff's increased on Ericsson.
Yeah. It's a shame as well for Smith, because as every lap goes by, he highlights that he had the pace to be with these guys. And in fact, Ericsson is now under pressure from Victor Ivanov.
Ericsson's going to pit.
Yeah, Ericsson's pitting. There's no reason to take that line if you weren't. And Jesper Eriksson is the first of the front runners to enter pit lane on lap 11. So the two-stop...
It's going to be close. It's going to be close because you've effectively made yourself 2 laps short now. If you'd have gone to... compared to if you've gone to lap 12.
Yeah. He's going to slap on a new set of tyres though. It'll be a bit heavier, but those new tyres should help him. And he's trying to undercut Ivanov and McDuff here. Maybe even Leonov if he's feeling opportunistic, but he can't really see Leonov in front of him, though. And he's away much faster than Kuchenberg, almost hitting into, I think that's Andre or Hallows coming as the pits behind. Don't quite have these liveries off by heart yet. Yeah, it's Alex Hallows. So Eriksson comes out in position number 9. Position number 9. I think if the overlay updates on the next lap, it will be either 8th or 9th place.
Your challenge here now, after you've come out of the pits, to get those tyres up to temperature as soon as possible. They're going to be ice cold, and you've really got to work them throughout your outlap just to get them into an operating window that you can really push on and make the undercut work.
Yeah, we're 1/3 of the way through this race, and Carlos Martin has led every single second of it. Leonov getting a bit out of shape behind. He has been the car who has been filling Martin's wing mirrors for the entirety of the 12 completed laps so far.
A lot less
Another
now after
penalty
that
on the
mistake from Leonov. He's lost 4/10 or so there, so he's dropped back off the bumper.
Yeah, because from that moment on, it's pretty much flat out all the way up to this chicane here, which is a very heavy braking zone. Esteban Barbakov would have expected slightly more from him, to be honest, in qualifying, knowing his reputation and speed. Here's Owen McGalgy in the pits. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out relative to Danny Robbins once they've both completed pit stops, and that he's just been overtaken in the pit lane by, I think that's Alfie Bevan who's overtaken him. Couldn't quite see it because of the lights, but he's been passed in pit road, and he's passed on track by Amar Hammoud and Andre, so he's come out in, it's not 10th place, it'll be 12th place once it updates. 11th place even.
Yeah,
so
I think the overlays are a little bit behind.
Yeah, something going a bit wrong with the overlay.
Issues. Yeah, because it says he's still in the pits as well. And there
Goodness
we
me, Magalji is all over the place. He's
go.
going
Yes,
around
the new tyres round the outside.
Whoa! That is an
and the 41 spins.
Here. That was Hammoud going slowly on the exit of the corner, and he's the one who's been spun around. Andre keeps going, but Amar Hammoud is now facing the wrong way. I think he was the one who got out of shape the most, and then just got punted into by Andre, who, to be fair to him, was completely boxed in. He couldn't go to the outside because that's exactly where the car of Owen McGalgy was. That was a very brave move from McGalgy, and it's paid off. He's gained 2 places as a result of it.
These cars are as easy to spin back around as they are to spin in the first place, so he didn't have much getting
and McGalgy, that's Wesley Burkout, I think, has just come out the pits. And Burkout has just come out ahead of McGalgy.
McGalgy's got to get his tyre temperature because he will be on the back foot. But he might be having a look here. The AFP car is going to get involved as well. I can't quite see who that is. I think that's... that
is Danny Robbins, I think, who's jumped. So Burkout has lost out big time. He was running in 6th place, I think it was, right? Not far behind Jesper Eriksson. But he's come out miles behind them in this race. So there's a battle right behind Carlos Martin here. That's between Leonov and McDuff, and Leonov gets back past Roy McDuff.
That was a lap car, and then McDuff's now exiting the pits.
Yeah, he's lost out big time here.
Yeah, Ericsson's got McDuff.
Eriksson. Yep, Eriksson with the massive undercut, 3-lap undercut, has come out in front, not by much.
But McDuff's in a better position for the end. He could have a shorter stop, especially if he's managed to go this long. Managed to go 14 laps there. So
but that also shows that it is possible for Eriksson to do the same if he manages his tyres. There's a car on the grass there. I
think that was a lap car getting out the way.
Yeah, and this is Victor Ivanov right behind Rory McDuff as well. So it's not like he's in a very comfortable position. Tyres, yes, but in terms of being on track, he's in quite the sandwich, Rory McDuff. Not a big gap ahead and not a big gap behind either, but 7 seconds to the leader. That gap has increased massively. And here's a battle. McGalgy versus Burkout here. Sorry, Burkout for 7th place. And Danny Robbins just up ahead as well. Robbins, all these guys have made a pit stop. I think it's safe to assume everybody on the grid has made at least 1 pit stop in this race so far. And coming out of the last corner, Burkout. Oh my goodness me! That was very close.
That was one of the Asenza cars. I don't know which one. It's not Amar Hammoud because he's the car ahead.
No, it wasn't an extended. There's only 2 running, or there should only be 2 running.
That was looked for a move down, and that's a lap car getting out.
No, I think it was Amar Hammoud. I think it was Amar Hammoud who spun around on the curb. He almost collected.
I think Amar Hammoud is the car ahead of McGalgy here.
That was. It might be. That was absolutely.
Oh no, it was Amar, and then it's Wesley. Yeah, sorry, the numbers are the same on both of the cars.
That was millimeters between the teammates.
just as the pit stops are calming down, they're about to fire back up again. Not much of a rest for these virtual pit crew. We've got about 8 laps until these drivers have to pit again, and I imagine 4 will be when we start to see the people going for the undercut. But it is going to be a very, very tight race indeed on pit stop strategy.
I doubt it will come about, but we might well see a 3-stop. I doubt we'll see one, but we might do. It's audacious because you are taking a long trip down the pit lane to pull it off.
It's important to notice how close the first and second place cars are, the number 1 and the number 6 car.
Goodness me. These guys have been inseparable all afternoon, and indeed, Leonov has closed in on Carlos Martin here. Goodness me. These two, in the States, have been inseparable.
The absolute... And oh dear, there is some slight lag issues here. I've just seen a car teleport away from Alex Hallows, but what I was going to say...
I think Alex Hallows is the one lagging, based on what we've seen earlier. So the drivers are going to have to watch out for that one.
Quite interesting, this. I know FSR recently disqualified someone for having too high of a ping. Very disappointing for him, as I believe he'd finished 6th or something in an Indianapolis race. But what I was going to say was it's very impressive to see the number 6 and the number 1, both of these guys driving the absolute wheels of any machinery that they are given. Very talented drivers indeed.
Leonov was a bit sideways coming off turn 1. Initially didn't lose much, but now the real loss is going to be amplified here. You can see this battle. It's 0.2 of a second as they come into the chicane. These guys are still lapping quickly. That's only 0.6 off of the pole time. It's a fast laps these guys are setting. Oh, a bit of a twitch there from Marty. He's much wider than Leonov through the first part, but then of course gets that lovely late apex exit. Plenty of speed carried over, and there you go, half a second coming into the penultimate corner at turn 7.
This could get very interesting indeed. I think, though, Leonov will be content letting Martin punch that hole in the air. As we've already said, fuel's going to be tight towards the end of this race. So I think he's just going to let Martin punch the hole in the air, kind of stay in his slipstream for a little bit, and then attack in the final stint.
Yeah, but if you're Leonov here, you're already probably thinking about a potential undercut. And if you're Martin, you're thinking, do I pit first and risk coming out into traffic? But at least I cover off the undercut, because we've seen with Jesper Eriksson, the undercut is powerful around here. He closed a big gap to Roy McDuff and overtook him. And also with Owen McGaugy. And actually, that one was a bit more obscure I think, because Danny Robbins came in the pits after both McGaugy and Bookout, but managed to jump both of them in the pits. So, we are half distance now in this inaugural race in the SRL NASCAR Series at Watkins Glen on the road on the Grand Prix layout, and this battle for the lead continues to go on. Van Leonov just cannot find a way past Carlos Martin. If we're counting how many laps now that he's been seeing the back of Martin's car and no other, we're into the 30s and maybe even the 40s now if you're including the Indy 250. And it must be getting a little bit frustrating for him, seeing that black rear for so long. Again, Leonov is much wider on the first few corners than Martin, and Martin comes back onto the track later, bouncing over the curb at the end, much sooner than Leonov is.
I'm pretty sure if Leonov was going to attack Carlos Martin, he would have done it by now. As I said, I'm pretty sure he's going to be completely content with just letting him punch that hole in the air, though he's getting closer and closer as Alex Hallows is off into the gravel. I've just seen that on his stream.
That's going to drop him down the order a little bit. Here he is. He's lost the place to Darius Andre now. He's just up ahead on the road.
I know he's having a bit of trouble with McGaugy, I believe.
Can I just say how well Harry Smith... Oh, Danny Robbins has had an off. He's dropped...
He's just come out of the pits.
He's just come out of the pits. He's pitted very early.
That's interesting.
I don't think he's going to be able to go the rest of the race without pitting.
So this is a bit awkward in the chicane.
Yeah, he's pushing him around. He's pushing him around the chicane.
Yeah, Andre, the fresh tyres versus the old tyres, and can clearly see the grip difference as Andre's drifting those corners, and Robbins is glued to the track.
Absolutely, yeah. That car is so... Look at this here now, how much time he's getting in the game. Wow.
And that's said, pit window.
That's 2 tenths in one corner. I'd say a few more laps, because Robbins is the only one who's coming to the pits. I also wanted to mention Harry Smith. Wonderful recovery so far, up to 13th place.
According to the 12-lap rule, not rule, but the 12-lap stint that Jacob said it was going to be.
Yeah, but I think we can overrule that because we saw a 14-lap stint being done by McDuff. So
I think, to be fair, it's probably 12 laps and then McDuff just going extra long, but I think it really depends. Hopefully fuel gets tight towards the end of the race and we start to see drivers having to put measures in to save. That would make quite an interesting race, but so far I think everyone's just content running where they are, really.
Speaking of him, here he is on screen. In 4th place, still in that sandwich between Jesper Eriksson and Victor Ivanov.
Another incident with Alex Hallows.
That's further back. That's further back. Oh, that's going very wide in the background there. I think that's actually Harry Smith going off in the back, if I remember the car correctly. But yeah, he's done well from the back up to 13th and still within. I don't know how the point scoring system exactly works, but I think it's top 20 that gets points.
It's everyone.
Everyone, okay.
It goes 40 and then 35, and then it's 1 point down from there.
Okay, yeah, I don't follow NASCAR, so I'm as clueless as anyone who's never seen it before. But we are now on.
Very wide from Ericsson out of turn 6 there.
And by McDuff, but McDuff has closed in a lot more since we started following him, and he's got that nice little slipstream pocket now. His car seems to be a bit, because of course Ericsson made that early pit stop. McDuff's car seems a lot more planted because now the tire.
Slide from Ericsson out the last corner.
The tire advantage is only going to be exponential. So the longer these guys go on the same set of tires, the worse Ericsson's tires get relative to McDuff. And there you go, miles off the circuit he goes at turn 1. This is a prime opportunity for McDuff. Can we see a pass into the chicane for the first time this race? He's so close to the back of him now. Victor Ivanov is going to get an almighty tow coming down here. He's on board with McDuff. I think they're going to go side by side here. McDuff takes...
It's going to be a risk to go around the outside.
Look at Ivanov.
But he's going to have the inside. It's sideways at Ericsson goes wide.
Ericsson's gone wide and through.
Ivanov's going to get both of them.
Ivanov goes down the inside of McDuff here. They're side by side through turn 6. This is brilliant racing between these guys. Slightly shoved off the road. Contact. There's contact between them again. He wants that inside line, does Ivanov. He wants to push his rival to the inside. McDuff is not allowing it, and he holds the position. Valiant effort from both drivers in the end.
Oh, I think there was a bump. I think Ivanov gave him a bump.
He's gone, and Ivanov is sliding around as well as Ericsson enters pit road.
Smart from Ericsson to get out of this and get some fresh tyres on while these guys battle.
Here comes the lapped car now, trying to pass Ivanov coming into the first corner. That was crazy.
They're racing like they're on the dodgems at Butlins, never mind at Watkins, Glen. It's really quite interesting to see how little room these are giving each other.
And it's cost them time too, plenty of it.
Hard and arguably unfair, you could say.
No, I think that's just good old hard racing. There was a lot of wheel banging, a lot of small bits of contact, and McDuff is really bouncing over these guys. McDuff's tyres are the freshest of any of the top 5, even anyone who's only made one pit stop in this race. But that skirmish will certainly not have done his tyres any good. I think Leonov had to put his car into a slide to avoid McDuff because he was going to hit into him before he lost a bit of control himself.
And here comes McDuff into the pits.
There you go. There's the damage done to his tyres. So he only did 11 laps in the end on those tyres. So it'll be a 13 lap stint to the end for Rory McDuff. Into the pits. How quick is his stop? Where's Jesper Eriksson, by the way? This is definitely a response to Jesper Eriksson, because we saw in the last stint, Eriksson gained an enormous amount of time on these guys in the pit stop phase. Here is Jesper Eriksson. He's coming up towards the penultimate corner now, and into the penultimate corner he turns in. He's looking very planted, very fast, and very in control of his vehicle. Round the last corner, nice and smooth. Where is Rory McDuff? In the pits. We're going to see him very soon. There he is.
It's going to be
He's coming towards
close.
the exit. This is going to be very close. We might even go down to the chicane. No, it won't.
Ericsson's
Yes, but
going to get
Ericsson
him
comes
just
down
about.
front.
He's going to have the momentum.
Actually, will he?
Just about.
Just about as he turns into the chicane. He's ahead. He's just ahead. And now McDuff has to warm those tyres up quickly or Ericsson is going to disappear while he uses that fresh advantage. And now, instead of 3-lap gap, it's only 1 lap. And the race leader's in. The race leader is into the
And
pits,
Leonov.
Carlos Martin. And Ivan Leonov follows him in. So I think if I was Leonov, I would have done the opposite to Martin because it's probably his only chance. Martin stops in his garage nicely. Leonov is just ahead of him. And we're looking ahead. This is in the cockpit of Carlos Martin's car.
It's about 15 minutes to go as well in this race, so it's going to be maximum attack for the rest.
And he's tucked away. When is Leonov going to leave? It's not
Oh, that's close. They're side by side.
So close. And Martin is
Leonov
ahead.
just has to give.
Squeezes his rival into
There's a car on the pit exit.
On the exit of the pits. This is a great chance for Leonov now. He's
This is his best. This has to be his best chance, whether on
This
cold
has to be
tyres.
it. He has to go for this one. Look how close he is. He's moving around even before they get to this little kink here. He's in the slipstream. Martin knows it. He stays true to it. He's perfectly parked in the middle of the road. He might cut his rival. He does cut him off. And Carlos Martin expertly holds on to the lead.
Driving there from Carlos Martin.
Put his car exactly where he needed to. This is...
Leonov's going to try and get the run out of this carousel. He's got a brilliant run compared to
He's got a lot
Martin.
more speed. He's got a lot more speed. He might well go for this into the penultimate corner. Martin knows he's there again. Perfect positioning. He's forced his right to the outside, but this time he can't close it on.
Contact between the teammates.
I don't think he left enough room there. There was definitely some grass being kicked up by Ivan Leonov there. And for a moment, Leonov was in front. But Martin
I think
holds firm into
Leonov's
the lead.
just about missed his opportunity there.
Yeah, now both these guys have very high temperatures. It's so difficult to pass into turn 1. I didn't expect it to be so hard to pass into the first corner. Leonov gets out of shape, and there you go. Martin goes. The chances of the chicane is well and truly gone now. Great.
Yeah, I think if he had to do it, he had to make a bit of contact.
He had to hang in there. He had no choice.
Oh, he's got slipstream though. It's less than a tenth coming down to the chicane. But he's going to be a send if he does it. He tries it.
He's going for it.
Oh!
He's pushing him towards the wall. Martin was pushing his rival towards the wall again, and Leonov kind of backed out of that one. Or they were both going to crash. It's kind of that Senna attitude. Either we both crash, or none. Either you give me the position, or we both crash. And still, Martin holds the lead, but Leonov is all over the back of him. They've got a big 11 seconds behind. And now they're catching up to lapped cars, so Leonov might have another opportunity yet.
McDuff has just passed Ericsson behind. Oh,
so
lap
McDuff's
cars
got-
everywhere,
look
3
at
wide,
these.
split the middle.
They are everywhere, going through the middle. Martin's got a good amount of slipstream from the car in front of him as well, but he doesn't want that. He doesn't want this dirty air now coming into the corner. Wants to spot his braking point as well. As they go through.
Oh, McDuff in the wall. As we switch back.
Ericsson goes back.
These
past,
two have been
and there was definitely a car in the wall.
swapping positions this entire lap, and we just switched to it, and we had McDuff in the wall being pushed into there by Ericsson. So some hard racing between these two. If you thought it was hard, between the teammates ahead, lap car gets out of the way as we come up through the S's.
Of course, enormous respect between the two teammates up ahead. These guys are not in the same team though, so there'll be a bit less at stake in a way.
Especially
Such a
after
short
contact. If one makes contact, the other has to make contact. It's kind of like the unspoken rule of racing in NASCAR.
Huge curb! Oh, Ericsson, I thought he was going to go round there, but he held it. Took a huge amount of curb in the first part of the chicane. Really unsettled the car. You will not want to do that again. His pants are probably a bit soggier than they were a few minutes ago. With Rory McDuff right on his gearbox.
If you're going to go, if you're going to want to win a 4-round championship, you have to take every single opportunity presented to you. So Leonov and McDuff will both feel incredibly disappointed if they aren't able to take their respective first and third positions.
McDuff looks a little bit faster here. He looks faster. Leonov and Martin, I think, are perfectly matched, but it's just Leonov has slipstream behind. Because when it's always easier to follow another car. Oh, this car spins in the foreground. It's always... Oh, here we go. Leonov again. He's too far back. Oh, they hit each other through the first part of the chicane. Martin again. That car is a moving...
car.
That's Eric Kuchenberger. He gets out of the way in time, just about, before he impeded Martin too much. Bit of a squirm from Leonov as well.
I think he actually impeded Leonov a little bit more, because Leonov had to take a tighter line out of the carousel.
Martin is just positioning his car exactly where he needs to. Leonov is hungry, though, but he's damaging his tyres. He's getting them too big.
He might as well, because he's got a 12-second gap back, so he might as well just go for it.
Yeah, as they start lap 30, 8 laps to go in what has been a thrilling opener to the series in Watkins Glen. And Leonov he's using... Oh, actually, no, Martin used a bit more of the runoff there than Leonov did. And again, Martin coming back onto the track slightly later. Got a good run coming up. The next few corners, 3/10 as they come round here, might well be enough. Because it's only the slipstream only becomes more powerful as time passes on. It's too far back. It's too far back for
Just
Ivan
about.
Leonov. Martin is holding on to... He almost hit the inside wall there. He's holding on to this by the skin of his teeth.
I think Leonov needs some more mind games. I think he needs... Going into the chicane, he just needs to pop his nose out from the slipstream. Not to do a move, just to kind of get Martin looking in his mirror in the braking zone and force him into a mistake. It's the oldest trick in the book, but it's very easy to fall to.
Because right now, I don't think Martin is as intimidated as some of us think
sideways!
he is. No!
Oh, and he's thrown it away there. I think he had a really... He was so close. He was 2/10 back, and
that's the high tire temp, the dirty air and everything. Yeah. So now he has hot tires, and he has to catch back up to Martin. And he's done it in one corner.
Right up the bumper, and you start giving them little... Just in NASCAR, you just give them little love taps and just kind of pressurize them. Make sure they know you're there. Obviously, don't go too massive on the contact, but... just little nudges and things can really unsettle your opponent and force them into a mistake.
Yep. And Leonov again, he's closed in again. In fact, this is probably better because now he's in a good position coming into the chicane. He's not too close, so that he's really stuck and misses his braking point or anything like that. He's at that perfect distance. There you go. That's exemplified right as they went through the chicane, nice and close up behind coming into turn 6.
One thing he did on that first lap, the first lap out of the pits, was he ran very wide through the carousel and got a really good exit, and that gave him a great... He was alongside into this corner. I think that's where he needs to make his move, rather than into the chicane. I think the penultimate corner is the best overtaking spot for Leonov.
It might well be, yeah. As Martin made it very clear he was going to squeeze his rival into the wall if he didn't back out of it. It's great respect, great racing between these two, although I'm sure that move must have angered Leonov ever so slightly. And the 26-year-old engineer holding on for the time being. The whole race has been stalked and followed by Leonov. He's seen everything that Martin's done. He could probably tell you exactly how Martin's race has gone because he's been stuck behind him. Here we go. Here's Rory McDuff right behind Jesper Eriksson. This is going to be close. Up the hill they come. This is a great chance for McDuff to take the final spot on the podium back. Eriksson knows he's there. He's moving about all over the place. And in fact, the chance might be gone for McDuff. And indeed, he holds station behind into the chicane for a better run through here and into turn 6. And that is exactly where he's got... Oh, he's touched the grass there. So he's going for a very wide line here.
It's almost impossible to overtake on this track. We're not seeing
many... Eriksson's gone a bit wide there. Sorry, that was a little bit exaggerated by me. Apologies, Tom, as you were saying.
It's very difficult to overtake on this track. I thought it'd be absolute mayhem, trading positions every single lap, but it's definitely more of a game of chess than drafts.
I love chess. One of my favourite things to do if I'm very bored. If you need lessons in chess, just hit me up. FIDE rating of about... Actually, I don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out. I think it's in around the 1,500, 600s. Anyway,
slowly
back to the race.
Leonov seems to be getting actually further away from Martin. Martin seems to be slowly but surely building a gap and just kind of managing the gap behind. He's soaking up pressure like a sponge. It's brilliant.
It's what we've come to expect from him. And back to the McDuff.
Yeah, that's the tire temperatures. I think both Leonov and McDuff are getting much worse tire temperatures, trying to use different lines to pass the car ahead, and it's just burning their tires out.
Well.
Yeah, and then it wears them more, and then once you get some heat, you can't really get that, especially with these tires. I did some laps, and once you'd spun or anything, you just couldn't help it spinning again because the tyres just overheated that much.
Look at
Ericsson
McDuff
with a slide. That's going to give McDuff
Yeah,
a really good
McDuff's
chance in
got
the
a great
turn
chance.
one.
Ericsson goes right to the pit wall. He's not going to let him have the inside line here. Can McDuff go around the outside into the first corner? It's going to be brave. He's ahead into the braking zone and he sweeps around the outside. Just about.
Oh, McDuff gets spun. They both spin, but
they both spin off and McDuff
can they
hits
go?
the wall.
Can they get
Ericsson's really
going?
into it.
Ericsson
I
gets
think
going.
McDuff is
McDuff's stuck. Has
think
McDuff
he's done.
stalled it?
He stalled it, or he's got too much damage, and Rory McDuff
He's got it going.
the finish line.
It's so close and so precarious.
In sight of a podium, Rory McDuff now has to take that damaged car a whole lap.
Yeah, that's broken. I think he's going to retire here.
That's done. That's done. That is bitterly disappointing for Rory McDuff. He drove such a well calculated and well driven race, and it's a shame it has to end like that. And this man is also trundling. Jesper Ericsson didn't hit the wall as hard.
You have to really just take risks, and sometimes those risks don't work out, and unfortunately that's what Rory McDuff has found out today. Although because he's completed 80% of the race, he will classify,
Yep.
He will get points, but unfortunately I don't think he'll get many.
Yeah, so Victor Ivanov, a bit fortunate in the end, takes third place, so it is again Netrex 1-2-3 at the front.
There's someone who has actually messed up on their fuel, as you mentioned earlier, with Alex Hallows. He's had to go for a 12-second stop. That's lost him one position, and he's got a drive-through penalty.
Yeah, he has.
For speeding, yep. So there goes any positions he had before, so he's actually in a good position there. That's going to cost him very dearly. Harry Smith is up into the top 10. Oh, massive spin in the background. Who was that going for a big pirouette? Coming out of turn 6 again. There's 2 laps to go though, and I think we now have to concentrate our focus with the McDuff-Ericsson battle gone. I think we have to concentrate on these two here. They have been
I
the
think
stars of the show.
Martin's got this. He's just got that advantage of Leonov, whether it be tyre temperatures, wear, fuel, but it's just he's got that advantage. And Leonov had to do it long ago.
Might be holding back a little bit and just kind of waiting for his opportunity. He's not got long left though, and he would ideally like to be a little bit closer, but maybe he's got a little bit of pace left in the bank, and he's going to kind of shock his teammate on the final lap.
I don't know. It's going to be tight. I think Carlos Martin is probably humming to himself, saying, "I've got this race in the bag. There's no way Ivan's going to pass me. They couldn't do it in Indy. He won't do it here." And Indy was a slightly easier position, I would say, if you were in Leonov's shoes.
This is the penultimate lap of the race, if I am correct.
Yes, it is. And Ericsson's just pit.
Yes, but Ericsson entered pit road, so that's going to cost him
Was he able to make it to the end anyway? Was it worth Rory fighting that? Was Jesper ever
he's
going
got a
to make
penalty.
it?
He's got a time penalty.
And he's sped.
Oh no! So any chance now of a good finish is gone with that penalty. Oh, they're not spun, and that's it. I think that's it.
Yeah, just too slide. Too much of a slide.
It's going to be a win. Yeah, his tyre temps, his tyres have degraded too much from all that fighting and following Carlos Martin again through turn 1. He's drifting around that corner. Martin's tyres aren't in great condition either. That's the biggest the gap's ever been between these two. Even in the opening laps, it's never been this big. Carlos Martin has led every single lap of this race. He's been imperious, completely unfazed. But I think Leonov will be having words with him afterwards after that move in turn 6 where he squeezed him into the wall. Not onto the wall, onto the grass.
It's not over until it's over though.
3
and he's
more
still
corners.
Go disconnects and all things like that can play a factor here. And
0.8 of a second with 2 corners to go. It looks in the bag for Carlos Martin, the Spaniard.
All it takes from oversteer or your brakes to step out on you, or you to get caught out.
I think he's going to be good. He didn't win the opening race in Italian Formula 3, but he went on to win the title. He didn't qualify well in the SRL 250. He went on to win that race, but he started NASCAR absolutely perfectly. Carlos Martin takes the checkered flag and wins the opening race of the NASCAR series at Watkins Glen by less than a second from his teammate Ivan Leonov after a race-long and thrilling battle. Victor Ivanov is going to make it Netrex 1-2-3 as he rounds the final corner and takes third place. Quiet race from him, but also well driven. He'll be pretty pleased with that one in third place. And it will be Owen McGaugy who takes fourth place. Who would have thought after struggling down in 8th early on. He's going to be taking 4 on. Let's know, but has Burkhout passed him? Has Wesley Burkhout just passed him before they cross the line? Yes, he has. Wesley Burkhout's gone past Magauji with 2 corners to go. What drama down the order? Has Magauji run out of fuel?
Yeah, I think he has.
He's
dropping back massively, so must be coasting.
He's dropping back. He's coasting. He's trundling back.
His tyres. He's slipping everywhere.
He's got a puncture, I think. He's going to make
I don't think it's puncture. I think they're just dead.
Burkhout takes 4th. Magauji will still be pleased at 5th, but to lose it on the last lap is harsh. Yes, but
Ericsson finished 6th, and he was 3rd with about 6 laps to go.
Yeah, I don't know how the penalty is going to work out with that. And he finished just ahead of Stoyan Barbakov. Great recovery from Barbakov from 15th on the grid. Behind him, Harry Smith, also a great recovery from last to 8th position. Alex Hallows will end up in 9th. Alfie Bevan rounds out the top 10. Then Eric Kumade in 11th. Ado 12th. McDuff still 13th, even after retiring with a few laps to go. So here you go. Here's your top 10. Carlos Martin, this guy, when he's on form, he's unbeatable.
I think he's always on form.
Mate, yeah, always on form, pretty much, yeah. So there's the win for him.
We'll be having interviews, if I'm correct, in a moment. And as you are the most knowledgeable here, Jacob, would you like to lead the interviews?
I think James is the interview. He's the one that asks the best questions. So I think I'll pass it to James. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, you can ask any technical question you want. Just ask
me. Top 3 would like to join.
Anyway, a quick run through the finishing order list in the top 10. It was Carlos Martin who converted pole to the win, closely followed all race by Ivan Leonov. But Leonov, he only pulled ahead once, and it was for a matter of seconds before Martin barged his way back through. Viktor Ivanov ended up in 3rd place, and Wesley Burkhout, great result in the Excensa, in 4th, stealing 4th from Owen Magauji right at the end after Magauji's tyres gave up the ghost. Jesper Eriksson, well, 6th place is a good finish, but he'll be disappointed having run in 3rd for the majority of the race. That contact with Rory McDuff, I'm sure it will get reported and will have to be reviewed. 7th, Stoyan Barbakov, quiet but good race from him. 8th, Harry Smith, great recovery from the back after a poor first lap. Alex Hallows, despite all the drama he went through, ended up in 9th, with Alfie Bevan rounding out the top 10 for FR8 Sim Racing. And breathe. That was
an intense.
Got a chance to breathe now. Yeah. Here's a look through the rest of the grid. Eric Umade 11th, Reynaldi Ado 12th. Those guys both having quiet races, but Kumade improving his position by 19, having started 30th. Rory McDuff ends up 13th despite DNFing after the collision with Jesper Eriksson. Eric Huckenberger also climbing from the 31st up to 14th. Giuseppe Sterling 15th. Amar Hammoud in 16th. George Whitehouse 17th. Darius Andre DNF, but still ended up 18th. Sean Jones 19th, and Danny Robbins also DNFing at the end 20th. Something happened to Robbins, where he dropped down to 10th, and then something bigger happened.
Yeah, he was on a weird strategy because he pitted early, and then he undercut by being on that kind of like he did like half a stint at the start or something.
Yeah,
and it
something
put him off, but he was
yeah.
in a really good place. He was ahead of Ericsson actually after they'd both pitted, and then he DNF'd. So I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yep. And then the final man to reach the checker flag was Charles Como. And then here you go. Oh, this is a big list. I mean, we were expecting a lot of DNFs, but I don't think we were expecting so many. Jürgen van Bergen, Damien Kleiner, Ernest Lapis, Danny Vadania, Alessandro Valente, Ottavio Barros, Calvin Reiner, Savish Sontake, Joe Gaussidis, and that's just looking at the top 30. There's still 4 more DNFs to cover, and I can't quite remember them all off the top of my head. But yeah, that's been Watkins Glen. And we were just waiting if anyone wants an interview, waiting for them to join the voice chat. And here, there's only 31 starters. Kevin Vegas was disqualified from the race, so he must have done something very bad for that to be the case. But that was a thoroughly entertaining race. So, I don't know if they know. I don't know if the drivers know that they can have interviews. I had a good DM by Carlos. Yes. He's asked me for an interview in DMs. Yes, of course.
Bit of an awkward silence in the commentary box here. We are waiting for an interview. We've got Carlos Martins, so James, take it away.
Hello, Carlos. Again, it's what we've come to expect from you. Absolutely controlled, led every lap pretty much, and maximum points. How was that race for you?
I don't know what happened, but I didn't have brakes for all the race, so I was braking like 100 feet earlier in the first corner. I don't know. I was very slow because I couldn't brake. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I mean, race was controlled. The random, length of the pit stop didn't benefit me in the second one, so I was like 1.3 seconds ahead of Ivan. And then we just exited the pits. He just bumping my rear, and he's more aggressive than me with the tires. So the first laps I had to defend, and then we had two contacts. I had suspension damage. It wasn't very nice, but at the end, when tires were basically more over, I managed to pull the gap again.
Yeah, and there was at one point there was a brilliant little battle between you and Ivan. He went for the move into the penultimate corner, and you squeezed him onto the grass. Is that
yeah?
If he'd done that to you, how would you have felt? Because it was very, very marginal, and also on the next lap, kind of turning into the chicane, kind of saying, "Okay, you back out of this, or we're both going to crash." If it was the other way around, how would you feel about it?
Honestly, I didn't really squish him. He went for the outside, and when he decided going to the outside, I just get my car straight because I knew that if he could pull the car there, if I keep the car straight, then he has space, right? And yeah, I was moving to the right, yeah, because you go from the left to the right, and then when he decided to commit for the outside, then I said, okay, I don't move anymore. I just keep my car straight, and if you committed for the outside, it's because you had space, right? And that's what I did. It was same as Indy. Like in Indy, I went to cover the inside, and then when he committed for the inside, then I stayed, go straight. I go straight. I don't move anymore. Like, yeah, if you prefer taking that space rather than the inside, yeah, okay, go ahead. It's your choice. And the dangerous thing from that wasn't that actually was that there were 3 lapped cars ahead.
Oh,
so
yeah, that was close.
It could have finished anyway. Like, yeah, like it was a bit stressful. But yeah, what it was more painful was the issue I had with the brakes. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Just
I mean,
couldn't brake.
personally, I don't think there was anything wrong with your defending. It was absolutely borderline. But yeah, congrats again. Did you expect Ivan to be so aggressive? Because at the end, his tires, I mean, it was clear, probably for you as much as it was for us, his tires were gone. Did you expect him to be so aggressive all throughout the start of the third stint?
I mean, he's willing to win, so I completely understand that he wants to try it. The thing is, the only move that I didn't like was the once he tried to overtake in the chicane, he was really far. He was insanely far. I didn't cover that one. He was so far. He tried to, I don't know, because it's not the corner which you can actually dive bomb or something the chicane, right? Because it's so fast and so tight, so there's no chance to dive bomb. And then I suddenly saw he was trying for the move when he wasn't even like his front part close to my rear part, and then I had to open direction. We had contact, and that's the only thing I will say that I didn't like. But for the rest, I mean, we were like we had a huge gap to the rest of the field, so he's on his right to actually try. I mean, try without wrecking each other because we are teammates at the end of the day, right?
Yeah,
And
of course.
we want to finish as high as possible. But yeah, I struggled with the brakes. He struggled with the tires. Yesterday, we were told that the race was X2 fuel, X2 tires, which kinda compromised us because we were testing for 2 weeks for X1 tires, X1 fuel. And what this actually changed was that you didn't need to save tires. Actually, if you think about it, you may think, wait, that doesn't make any sense, but it does, because stints are really short, are 12 laps long. So you might be winning for 8 laps and maybe you may losing for 3-4 laps. But in the other way, stints were 25 laps, so you were winning. The problem was overheating, not really like your tires go very low on wear. It was due more overheating. So if my driving side was benefiting more one thing, and yesterday he just bumped him the lap times when we switched the server. So, but yeah, he's a great driver and he probably will win a race, probably, or two maybe.
Congratulations to the pair of you. 1, 2, 3 for Netrex, of course. 1, 2 for the specific team. And yeah, I wish you a pleasant time waiting for the next race in Road America. Enjoy yourself. You lead the championship.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next up, we'll bring Alex Hallows in if he's still there.
He is still there. So we're going to say hello, Alex. Welcome to the stream.
Hello.
I was watching your stream actually throughout the race. Had it on in. You had you had quite a difficult race.
It was kind of difficult. Not gonna lie. I was trying to stay consistent as possible, but there was one time in one of the laps. I think it's the penultimate corner, if I'm correct. I kind of was on the grass. I mean, and kind of spun the car, unfortunately. But that was bad timing because I was kind of fighting for a position as well, and I think I kind of got a bit too greedy. And there was another moment where I accidentally hit the back of someone after I came out the pits. The guy, I think, either broke a bit early or I just broke a bit late. I was just doing my usual braking point. But I think overall it was a good race. I think, if I'm correct, I'm in the points, which is another heads up too. I think I haven't been in the points in SRL since the first season, the AMS races that happened.
Okay, so I think because we're running short on time, we'll bid you farewell, Alex. So
Okay.
Thank you very much for the interview, and hopefully you can get some better. I don't know why I said hopefully then. Hopefully you can get some better luck next time out, and I guess we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, see you.
All right. Next up.
I dragged in the. Never mind. We've got Violet Pelletier.
Now, here's the driver who was wiped out very early on. So please explain to us what happened.
So, which story do you want? The first race restart or the second one?
Well, the second one, I guess.
So I had an issue with R-Factor 2 where we were set to go to grid, and I kept pressing race and nothing was not happening, and which I find very odd. So after everyone's gone on for a formation lap, I just lined up at the end of the pit lane because I forgot it wasn't a formation lap and the pit lane light was green. So I accidentally went an accidental lap down straight away. But actually, when I left the pits, there was a melee at the first chicane with at least 2 to 3 cars involved. Almost got killed by one rejoining. And then was actually coming to start my second lap that there was a huge crash on the front straight, from what I remember.
Yeah.
And I was going to avoid a car, and I get turned, and somehow the engine died.
Oh, the engine died, rip.
Yeah. I also figured out what happened in the first melee. One of the I think it was my teammate, Damien Klein, I can't pronounce their name, sorry.
Kleiner.
Just didn't brake. Like, I was going down the inside of one car, and it was going to be a good move, and I almost got rear-ended, and I just see to my right, just him just shooting straight off. Literally sending someone some poor soul to the Shadow Realm, and then the rest is you just see murder. Pretty much.
That's a good way to put it. But yeah, admin staff will try to rectify any problems that might be caused by those kinds of issues.
Yeah, there were huge problems, and there was a crash on the formation lap too, where actually Ibrahim Khan got killed on the second formation lap. So I'm surprised nobody noticed, because it was a pretty significant incident.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you in 1 week's time at Road America. I guess we're a bit short on time, but we still have to interview Wes. So
Oh yeah, have fun. Bye.
all right. So yeah. All right. Finally, my driver finished in 4th. Where's the book out? I'm pronouncing it right.
There you go. They're going
Thank
to
you. All right.
nerding out over a sensor for the
All right.
minutes.
Hey, be quiet, Tom. All right, Wes, 4th place in the end. It was going to be 5th until the last half of the last lap when Owen's tyres gave up. How was the race from your perspective?
It was overall pretty quiet, apart from 2 moments. Firstly, I got denied pit entry by a car that was blocking the pit entry, which kind of scared me. And I hit the wall at one point. But for the rest, I think, considering from what I've heard from other drivers, I got off really well.
Yeah, you had some good battles as well, and during one of them, you almost, it was probably the nearest miss of the race. Your teammate spun off at the last corner, you almost collected it. How was that for you driving through there, suddenly seeing a car where you're headed?
Not sure really. I was preparing. I saw a yellow flag already, so I was preparing for something to happen, and I just avoided it. I didn't think that much of it. Of course, unfortunate to see your teammates facing the wrong way, but
Yeah, tell me about it.
I was a little bit too focused.
Well, I mean, yeah. Did you expect to be in the top 4 in the end? Because you qualified pretty well.
I thought maybe if other people get unfortunate, but I don't think I had the pace for P4 in general, just a little bit off. But so yeah, in the end, I'm happy to get P4 behind the top 3 guys who I believe did a 3-stop from what I saw. But yeah, very happy to be effectively best of the rest.
If you want to put it that way, yeah, you were the first non-Netrex car on the grid. We were a bit short on time, so I'm afraid that's all we got time to say. See you in a week's time in Road America.
All right, thank you.
And that will wrap up the... Sorry, Tom?
I said that is the stream, I believe.
Yeah, that'll be it. So, that's round 1. Some very good racing at the front, some less good racing at the back, but overall very intriguing race. And,
Yeah, very fun at the front.
Yeah, a familiar face leading the pack. Will he lead it into Road America? Join us in a week's time, same place, same commentators, same entertainment. See you there.